Oh, y'all done messed up letting me drive the car tonight. I'm on one this evening. Well, tonight on the coin toss, we're going to talk about our team performances. And you know what? Last week was kind of decent. Didn't we have 2 out of 3 won last week? Was it? Because I know the Falcons won last week, and then the Bears won last week too,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Tina, we going to get you there, sweetheart. I don't know what got to happen, but we going to get you
Well, we
there.
beat the Bears already, so we got one.
Oh, shots. Pew, pew, shots fired. Oh man, so
I mean,
you
we
know,
played the
Hey,
Chiefs.
that's
Of course, we're
accurate.
gonna lose.
No hate.
touche. Well, I'm expecting a little bit of hate from, well, not a little hate, just a little good natured ribbing from north northeast of here, around about the Chesapeake Bay from our OG, our founder, since his left hand up. I can't hold it up no more. The Commanders beat my Falcons by a score of 24-16. And I cannot explain why, because statistically speaking, except for that 3 times that my quarterback threw the ball to the other team, Desmond Ritter performed. Desmond Ritter threw for over 300 yards. He was 28 of 47 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, I mean, those interceptions may or may not have played in the things, and I'm being completely facetious. I said it 2 weeks ago. The sooner we get rid of him, the better. I'm gonna keep saying it until they get somebody. You know what? Zagniff Apparel getting ready to sell. Get rid of Ritter. That's what we get ready to do. The offense was, aside from that, the offense was kind of anemic. I mean, there was looked like less than 100 yards rushing between Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson, Desmond Ritter. I mean, Cordarrelle Patterson had 1 run for 0. Now, Drake London did come up big with 125 yards receiving. Kyle Pitts got himself a touchdown. Yay for him, stupid Florida Gator. And Jonnu Smith got himself a touchdown as well, but it was not enough to get the job done. So yeah, the Falcons are who we thought they were, although they are playing 500 ball, and the Falcons being at 500 after 6 games is kind of the equivalent of, I'm going to use the analogy again, being able to hit all the Cheerios in the bowl. They did a good job. So Tina, tell us about your beloved Broncos.
As I've said, I think I've said it multiple times every time we talk about this. It's Jekyll and Hyde football. 1 week the defense is horrible and Miami's scoring 70 on us, but our offense is okay. The next week we're playing the Chiefs and we hold them to less than 20 points. What the hell? Where'd that D come from? But all of that being said, and the offense couldn't find the door with the light on and the key in their hand in that game. So I can't explain it. The only thing I keep going to is what a lot of my friends and I have been saying is, one, we think it's part of it is coaching. Whatever Joe Lombardi is calling as the offensive coordinator, he sucks. And I can understand why the Chargers got rid of him. I just can't. I got nothing this week. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, the only thing I can hang my hat on is we didn't allow the Chargers to score more than 20 points. Our defense showed up, but we have hardly any pass rush. So it was interesting. And like with Ritter, there's like those pesky interceptions just kill you. There's a couple of balls that Russell threw that I was like, why? Why'd you do that? You got a guy sitting out in the middle of your secondary just going like, throw the ball to me. And he did. So I'm the only thing I can come up with is at this point, they're just tanking so they can kick off whoever they want to kick off. And I think we're going to have a fire sale by the end of October. I'm hearing lots of rumors. Judy, a few others are probably going to be on the block, and we'll see what happens. I can even see Russell being gone next year. I read an article this week that was actually talking about what the cap hit would actually be for him, and it actually makes more financial sense to get rid of him. It's crazy. And that's an $80 million cap hit over 2 years.
when you are in a position where it is better for you to just spend $80 million than to try and fix whatever's broken with the thing you spent the $80 million on, you know you got a problem.
Yeah, but I don't think it's all Russell. I maybe last week might have been, but I really think it's game. They're not scheming right for the teams they're playing. And that may be because of the personnel they have. Like, again, this is not Peyton's team. He didn't draft these guys. He's using what he has and what's been drafted. And like a discussion we've had in the past before, I really think the years that the Broncos were under the trust and a lot of that stuff really curtailed what they could do with the team. So I think there's like a decade of crap that it has been going on with this team and they're trying to get out from underneath it. But you can only spend so much money if, and that's the thing, we haven't had draft picks for like 3 years. We haven't had first round draft pick in, I think, in like 3 years or something like that. So you can't replace your big guys. We never replaced Bradley Chubb. We never replaced Von Miller in our pass rush. So you can't get to the pass rush. We can get there, and we got there a couple of times. We even got there against Sam Howell, and we got there against a few, but we've got guys that have less than 3 years on our pass rush. The elder statesman and Randy Gregory, we said sayonara, and he went to the 49ers this week. So, I mean, it's my team's a mess. That's just the best I can put it. And each week I look for something that's decent, and for once it was the defense was pretty good this week. So on to whoever wants.
I just want to sing in the arms of the angel. I just want to put you, isolate you on the screen and play Sarah McLachlan and go, for the price of an offensive line, you too can make a Broncos fan happy. In the arms of the angel. Anyway, Delilah, what's going? Oh my God! Hey, y'all, strap in. We just getting started. Delilah, what's going on up in Chi-Town with them biz airs?
Well, I feel like we're in the worst division. My division is like the worst, For years, people used to make fun of the NFC least, right? But then for the last few years, can't say that, But no, NFC North is bad. It's just bad. The only team that's worth watching is Detroit, and kudos to them. After everything they went through, the fans wearing brown bags over their heads famously for years, right? And season to season. So I'm okay seeing, especially everybody feels like Detroit was cursed after they let go of Dan Campbell, right? Who was actually winning and doing all this stuff, right? That's the whole, that's what people say, But anyway, so 1-5, the 1-5 Bears. And it wasn't because Minnesota didn't try to lose that game themselves. It was really bad football offensively. It's just Minnesota was slightly better offensively. But it was
both teams were really offensive.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. It was just, I don't know if y'all watched it, but it was like off field goals pretty much. The whole game. Pretty much field goals. And then, Kirk got his touchdown because, he's, I'm not going to hate on him. He's not the reason that team's losing because he's always above his rating, right? He's always getting touchdowns, always over 100 passing yards, whatever. But this time, he got pressured. Like, he got sacked twice that game. Our defense was looking good. I finally maybe understand why Eberflus was a defensive coordinator. That felt like the defense actually came alive that game. And they had us in that game every time. We did not lose because of the defense, because they gave us every chance we could by putting pressure, by stopping third down conversions, by, when they would try to go for that fourth down, they wouldn't go for it. You know what I mean? So, like, our defense for the first time in weeks actually looked pretty decent, like they were finally figuring stuff out. But our offense, we didn't start using our number one receiver until the second half. DJ Moore did not come into the picture until the second half of the game. It's
Wait a minute. This is the same dude that tore up the lead last week.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So this is where we're like, what is going on? Like, seriously. You know, like, why? And I didn't like what they did to her. I don't like the last play that Luke Getsky. I don't like Luke Getsky. I don't. You know, everybody's like, oh, he's from Green Bay. Well, he ain't doing nothing for us. So, he ain't doing nothing. Like, we brought up this rookie quarterback, and he was doing pretty good. The sack on him was because our offense let their guard down. That poor kid. It wasn't his fault. But welcome to the NFL, right? Welcome to the NFL, rookie. But I liked what I saw, though. I felt like he has raw talent. You know, he did that really nice sneak in, right, with the touchdown. Like, that was really great. Like, I love that. Like, he got it done. And so I always like seeing when rookies get their touchdowns in the NFL, especially when it's themselves, right? And they're rushing it in, and that's exciting. But then, for some reason, Getsy says, you know what we're going to do on a 1-10? We're going to do a Hail Mary pass, because why not? Because that's what you do when your team is 1-10. Call a Hail Mary pass to the end zone. And then it gets intercepted, and all you see is dejection in that poor young quarterback's face. Not his fault, because they're the ones who called it. He's listening. He's a rookie. He can't change up the play calling, right? He can't adjust. That's not what he's doing right now. This is why Chicago continues to be known as a place that just cannot take care of their quarterbacks, right? Cannot take talent and make sure that we're using it the right way. This is why everybody's like, oh, let's bomb so we can get that kid, whoever that kid is out of college. I'm sorry. You guys are who's the number one?
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah. You know what he's going to do?
Hands off, he's mine.
Nah, Caleb.
He's going to go back.
Caleb flat out said, hell no. Wait a minute. That's my prime date? No, I think I'm going to wait till next year to go to the prom. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. He said any team that he feels, and I give him props for that. If he feels he's going to go to a team that's not going to help his career, right? That is going to, instead of help him grow in the NFL, right, isn't going to give him the foundation that he needs. He said he'll stay another year, right? Who can blame him? He'll be like, forget it, I'm going back.
But the Raiders are on his yes list.
There's something about Vegas, right?
Well, he's a Cali kid too, though, isn't he? He grew up. He probably grew up as a Raiders fan.
It's dum-dum. He thinks he goes and he plays for McDaniels.
Yeah.
McDaniels might turn him into the next Tom Brady. But the rest of the team, okay. Sorry,
I agree. I mean, but the thing is that Miami's not going to have a low enough. They're doing too good, so
they're not going to take him.
Yeah, so they won't even be at the. Well, the thing is, Johnny, Chicago fans, you can ask them. We don't hate Detroit, so we're fine with them taking. Like there's never been like a really like when we play against each other, we'll whatever. But you'll never hear like the same vitriol that we have against Green Bay and Minnesota. Like, it's just different. I don't know what it is about us in Detroit, but we just, we're fine with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was so long ago. I already knew. I'm telling you. I was like, we ain't going nowhere. It's just our offense is sad. I don't believe in our coaches. It's not the players, because I saw the talent in the players. We know DJ Moore would be up there. He would be, like, on fire this season, right? As like all the other top wide receivers, if we used him like we did last week, but we didn't, and that's why we lost. We lost because we did not use the guy that got us over 100 yards last week, and so it's stuff like that. So that's why I've said, I'm like, it's the coaches. It's the coaches' fault. It is all their fault. They all need to go. Fire sale on all the coaches. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Hey, coach, if anybody got any ideas how we can beat these guys next week, I got one, coach. Why don't we do what we did last week? Throw the ball to DJ. No. We got to do something different. We need to do something different. We got to switch it up. We got to keep them guessing. Anybody else? Yeah, you in the back. Who are you anyway? I'm undrafted free agent. They sent me in here to get the trash cans, but on my way out, the dude that caught all the balls last week, can y'all throw it to him again this week? Like it who are all the no, we not doing that this week. I told you we trying something different. And sure enough.
I like what Nate said. Like I've thought this for a long, long time. I do think they need to change the rules when it comes to drafting in the NFL. I think it's the NBA that it's like the bottom are all thrown together and they pull names out, and that's the one that gets to their first or their second or third or fourth or fifth. So if you're last in the league, you don't know if you're going to get the first round draft pick.
Right.
You don't know how that's going to work. So, and tanking is just horrible. It really, really is. I mean, I say we're tanking just because I can't explain anything else, because I hear all this stuff from people who are like, well, Peyton's really good. And I'm not dogging on Russ. I think Russ is doing the best job he can with what he has. But they're just not scheming. It's going back to what you're saying. Like, I honestly think there's some problem with the coaches. Like, they're not scheming correctly. They're not looking at this. But it could also be because they're looking at the personnel they have and say, okay, these guys are rookies and we got this person here, but he doesn't fit this, or we needed to do that. And there's just so much going on. And one thing I was going to say is take a look at Tim Jenkins' video on, is it Badgett? However he says
Badgett, yes,
Badgett. Look at he did a clip on him on his show. It's on YouTube. It's called All Things QB. Phenomenal. He breaks down a lot of tape for on him, and he actually sees some really good things.
Yeah, I do too. I think he did great. I was so excited to see. He was passing to DJ Moore. You know, I was like, oh. But no, I loved it. I thought that kid, you know, he's got talent. You could see it, and that's what I mean. I felt so bad. Yeah, I felt so bad.
He stepped up.
I feel so bad for that last play because I was like, that's not your fault, kid. You didn't ask for that. You're just following orders because you're a rookie. You don't have that capacity yet to go like, maybe we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, he's learning. It's the same with rookie wide receivers and stuff. I mean, I think running backs have a little bit easier because it's usually like, we create the hole, get your butt through it type thing. Wide receivers and quarterbacks, it's a skill position along with like cornerbacks and safeties. Those are skill positions, and you need some seasoning. Everybody comes out like plain white chicken.
You do.
Out of the NCAA when they're in the
I like that.
And didn't we kind of touch on this last week, that the whole thing with the, I mean, it's almost a lock that if you have a hot quarterback or a hot wide receiver, that they are going to go to the absolute worst team in the league, and that team is the worst team in the league for a reason. Whether it's talent. I mean, well, I'm not even going to blame it on talent, because there's an attrition rate. There's an attrition rate from Pee Wee League to Little League, from Little League to Pop Warner, from Pop Warner to high school, and then people just start weeding themselves out as it goes. By the time you get to college, the kids that are playing in college, especially those playing at those Power 5 schools with the multi-million-dollar NIL deals, those kids are like among the top 5%. Even the bad ones are the top 5% of the football players, American football players in the United States. So you're getting, you might not be getting, okay, so maybe Jared Goff is maybe not on par with Tom Brady, but he's still one of the top quarterbacks in the country in terms of just making it to Division I football.
Yeah.
So you're taking these kids with all this talent and you're saying, hey, you were the best player in the country. We're going to stick you on the worst second what team in the league, because they get the first pick.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do a doggone thing for your development, and sometimes it's not necessarily that the front office is bad. It's just they were contract heavy, front loaded. And all of these guys, they didn't have any money or draft picks or wiggle room to do anything. And so when all of those guys go, high kick out the back door with the Brinks truck full of money that they made, they leave a shell of a team.
Yeah.
And it's a doggone shame. I've seen too many guys come in the league and just you get them for 2 to 5 years, and then they're just one and done, or they bounce around, or they get that first big contract, and then they just bounce around.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to go back to like what was yesteryear, and it's something that I've always said when it comes to like these brand new rookie quarterbacks or brand new rookie wide receivers is the college game is very different. If you don't play in the SEC, if you play in the SEC, that league and the NFL are pretty close to each other. So there's not going to be a large learning curve with those guys.
Yeah, that's probably the most, I would say, and I'd have to get some word from OG. Didn't mean to cut you off. That's probably the most pro style conference in NCAA football.
So you're taking those guys, and especially if your team is bad. Like your team is bad. You haven't had a good quarterback. You get a first run. The owners don't want to take the time to develop these guys. They don't want to take 2 or 3 years for him to sit behind someone. They want to pop him in if they can. And there's also been a trend too with some of the quarterbacks, and they shall all remain nameless, though everybody knows who I'm talking about, that don't want to help train the rookies behind them to take over for them when they retire. So
I wouldn't know any players like that.
Oh,
I mean, no. I mean,
I mean, there's a few though, not just the one we're all thinking.
I'm not saying
everyone. No. But I'm saying I know the one the 3 of us are thinking about, but there was a few others that also opened their mouths and said they were going to do it either.
I'm not here to train. That's not my job. That's not what I'm here to do.
There are a few. Yeah,
and not everybody has an offensive coordinator brain like Peyton Manning had, like
or Andy Reid,
like those guys. So I mean, we're not investing in these guys. It has to be a quick return automatic, and that's how we get this churn on these quarterbacks that, like what you said, can go around the league for 10 years being a backup quarterback, make money for their family or whatever, and keep going for 10 years. And they make a job out. It's their living. I mean, Trevor Siemian is still going around the league.
He played on every team.
Teddy Bridgewater's still in the league. Like, that's that kind of stuff that it's just craziness. But I also do think that sometimes you need the right person. Because we've all had that one rookie that we were all really high on. And then it doesn't quite work out with our team, but he goes somewhere else and just goes through the roof. And that to me is just simply getting the right coach, right system. Somebody saw something that somebody else didn't see. So
that's true. That's very true. Very true. And having said all of that, I mean, what it boils down to is this week, all 3 of our teams were a whole bowl of suck.
Hot garbage.
For those of you just tuning in, yes, welcome to this week's Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. And our team sucked this week, and we like to vent. Welcome to our Kumbaya session we're having here right now. After this, we're all going to go back into our yurt and have audio therapy.